swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes.
My name is Tom Lewis, and I am the attorney for Patricia Haley, who was the other person in this wreck. You understand that? Okay. And what's your name?
Sarah.
Sarah what?
Lance.
How do you spell that?
Lance.
Lance.
Sarah is no age.
Okay. And Sarah, where do you live?
Current address?
Yes.
325 Stroud Road, Cedar Hill.
Cedar Hill, Tennessee. Okay. All right. And are you employed? Where do you work?
2 jobs, temporary playing music, and Uptown Art.
Uptime, or where's that?
Hendersonville and Franklin.
Okay. Now, I'm interested in the art, that's fine. Uptown Art, do you sell art?
I'm an art instructor for both of the jobs. One kids, one adults.
Okay. And is it an everyday kind of job?
It's part-time.
In
So-
the afternoon, after school's out, kind of?
Evenings mostly.
Okay. And the other one about the music thing, now tell me about that.
It's hourly, afternoons, mornings, children teaching lesson plans of music, sports, art, and school skills. So different things that they use in life as they grow older.
Okay, and it's like you're helping them not with their homework. Right?
No, these are babies till 5-year-olds.
Okay. All right.
They're not in school.
Judge, excuse me, let me move the mic. I was told the court reporter was gonna sit there. I'm just gonna move this mic up, just to make sure we get her.
Good.
There we go, we're good.
All right. Now, are you getting her?
Sir?
You're getting me, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I've got the whole table.
All right. You were involved with a wreck with Patricia Haley.
Yes.
And when was that?
January 2012.
Okay. And on that day, Sarah, where were you going?
Gymboree. My
What?
job, Gymboree.
Jim, and believe me, let's get that on the record clearly. Jim,
Gymboree playing music. It's Gynbore.
Jim Bree, play music.
Play the music.
Play the music?
Play and music.
Play and music. I got it. All right. And is this, how long do you keep the kids when they come to that play or music?
Anywhere from 45 minutes to 3 hours.
It's not a Mother's Day out. This is a different thing because you keep them away.
Yes, it's a different thing.
You're working with them.
Mhm.
And what time of day was it? What time of day do you normally go in?
This was about somewhere between 8 and 9. If I can remember correctly.
All right, what road were you on?
I was traveling on Nolensville, turn left on Harding.
All right, and the weather, how was the weather that morning?
Clear.
Tell me what happened.
Was stopped in the turn lane, and the arrow was red. Arrow turned green. Cars in front of me. There was a few cars in front of me. Started to go. I started to go, and then all of a sudden they were all stopping. Slammed on my brakes. Didn't quite make it. Hit the car in front of me.
Okay. And why did the car in front of you stop?
That I do not know. Probably because the car in front of him stopped.
Okay. And did you see the cars stopping in front of you?
It happened very quickly.
Okay. Now, you had been stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
See, I don't know. They can tell. That's why I got you on video. You had been stopped, and then traffic started. So how fast had you gotten to before you impacted the car in front of you?
It was probably between 5 and 10,
Okay,
no more than 15, I would imagine.
all right. And did when your car struck the car in front of you, after that, what did you do, if anything?
Got out of the car,
Okay.
checked to see if everyone was okay,
And who did you go check?
in order of the cars in front of me. The one right in front of me, asked the gentleman, and then I asked the lady directly in front of him.
Okay.
And then the other lady that was just a friend, I believe, was in front of her.
All right. And all the cars run into each other?
The car in front of me was involved, and the car in front of him was involved.
Okay. And what did the fellow in the car in front of you, what did he tell you?
He spoke Spanish. I have no idea what he said.
Okay. And what did the lady in front of the Spanish-speaking guy tell you, if anything?
Something along the lines of, okay. I asked the question, does anyone need an ambulance? And they all said no. Very small talk.
And what happened then?
Called 911.
Did you call 911?
I did. I called. I called 911. They said they would send an officer, and that we should just stay. Asked where our location was. I said, do we need to move or can we stay? And they said, you can stay. So we all stayed there, waited for the officer.
Did you stay in the road right where the cars were?
All in our exact order and everything.
Okay. And how long was it before the officer showed up?
Over an hour, under 3 hours. I have no idea. It took a while.
Okay. And what did you do during that time?
I made a phone call to my father. I examined myself. The gentleman in front of me, his son showed up because he spoke English, so relayed a lot of information to him and waited.
And when you talked to the son of the guy in front of you, what did he tell you that his father was saying, if anything?
Just that he didn't know what happened and was scared.
Did you have an opportunity to look at your car?
Yes,
Was there any damage?
yes.
What kind of damage?
Full front damage, hood damage, all of the airbags had gone off. Cracked.
Okay, what about the back of the Spanish man's car?
The whole bumper was cracked.
Okay. Did you see the front of the Spanish-speaking man's car?
Yes, there was no visual clear damage.
Okay. Did you see the back of the lady's car?
Yes.
What was in front?
A small dent with a little white mark from the car.
And her car didn't hit it.
Correct.
During that period of time that you talked to, and I'm assuming that the lady in the front was Patricia Hayes, my client, did you talk to her at all during that, whatever, 40 minutes or 1 hour to 3 hours?
Aside from the first conversation of, is everyone okay? Do we need an ambulance? There was one other time I went and informed them that I had called 911 and that there was an officer on the way, seeing if there was anything else I could do. Do you need any help? Calming words. And we all just kind of stayed at our own cars.
Okay. All right, were you injured in any way?
Yes.
What type of injury did you?
I have some airbag burns on my forehead and cheek and minor neck stress.
Okay, and did you go see a doctor for that?
No.
And how long did it take you to get over the airbag stress? Now, you said you didn't, there was a line of traffic in front of you at the light. Do you know how many cars there were? I know there were two, but was there more than two? That's my question.
I know that there was at least 3. I don't know if there were more.
Okay. And were they all turning left just as you were?
Yes.
And off to your left, where they turned, could you see why they stopped?
No.
Was there something there that would have blocked your vision, or you just didn't notice?
There was nothing blocking my vision. It wasn't apparent.
So you just didn't notice it, and that's okay. You don't look in the head. That's fine. All right. Was there anything that Miss Haley, assuming that she's 2 cars in front of you, could have done that would, where she could have avoided this wreck? Anything that you could think of that she could have done?
If that's possible, I wouldn't know too far back.
Okay. All right. That's all I need.
All right. I'm gonna walk you out, unless you want to stay, just for fun.
You guys seem like a great bunch.
Yeah,
but-
we're gonna laugh, but.
Thank you.
I haven't met you, Tricia.
I'm Todd. Rick, who's that?
This is her friend.
Okay, is her friend gonna be testifying at trial? Okay.
Well, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't imagine so.
Well, if she is, I'm gonna ask her to leave, so
Okay.
y'all need to make that
Well, you
decision.
might. She might need to testify. So let's put you back over here. And I'll take care of that anyway. You know where you're going. Right in that room. Okay. I can get to you. You know where we are. Okay. And once again, we're waiving all the captions.
Oh, yeah, I don't care about any of that stuff. Ready when y'all are. We ready?
We're on.
All right.
Will you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear from the testimony you're about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Ma'am, can you state your name, please?
Patricia A. Hay,
And what is your date of birth?
8160, August 1st, 1960.
And then that would make you how old?
I'm 53.
Okay. My name's Josh Offit, and I represent the defendant in this action. Have you ever given a deposition before?
Yes, I have.
What for?
I fell at Winn-Dixie. I gave my deposition there.
I think I saw something about that in your interrogatory responses. Who was your attorney for that action?
Clay Martin,
Where's he out of?
Huntsville, Alabama.
And what is your residence address?
107 Beach Nut Drive, Newmarket, Alabama, 35761.
And is that just over the border from Tennessee?
It's in Huntsville.
Okay, all right. My sister lived in Huntsville for maybe 8 years, so I know it a little bit. I know.
Are you familiar with Meridianville?
No,
Hazel
this was
Green?
about 20 years ago.
Hazel
So,
Green?
yes, I know Hazel Green.
We're close to Hazel.
Okay. And how long have you resided there?
23 years.
Okay. And besides the deposition you gave with the Winn-Dixie slip and fall, which we'll come back around to, have you ever given any other depositions? Have you ever been in a room where someone's typing down what you're saying besides that prior deposition with the Winn-Dixie lawsuit and right now?
Not that I'm in there.
All right. Have you ever been a plaintiff or a defendant in another civil lawsuit like we're doing here today besides probably the Winn-Dixie slip and fall and this lawsuit here?
No.
All right. And just a little bit of background information. Where are you from originally?
Jacksonville, Florida.
And are you married?
Yes.
And what is your husband's name?
Jeremiah Hale.
Have you ever been known by any other names? Obviously, you have a maiden name. So what other names have you been known by besides Patricia Haley?
Patricia Hale.
What?
Patricia Keller.
Thank you. And is that Kellar?
ER.
ER. Any other names you've been known by?
No.
All right. Do you have any children?
I have
And do they live in Alabama?
One is in Nashville at Vanderbilt, and one is in Huntsville.
Tell me the one at Vanderbilt. What's that child's name?
Jessica Hayden.
Is she the one that's the Titans cheerleader?
Yes.
Okay. We've heard about her from your attorney. I didn't know yesterday. I would have looked for her. What's she doing at Vanderbilt?
She's studying engineering, environmental engineering.
Okay. It's way over my head. How long have you and Mr. Haley been married?
25 years.
All right. No other marriages?
No.
All right. This is a question I have to ask everybody, so don't take offense. Have you ever been arrested?
No.
Are you presently employed?
Right now, I'm part-time at Huntsville Hospital as a chaplain and work whenever I want to.
That's nice. How?
And also, I'm in ministry.
Okay. Tell me where you went to high school.
Stanton High School in Jacksonville.
And you have secondary education then?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
I have a bachelor's in business administration.
From where?
Athens.
Athens College?
Athens, yes, State University.
Is that, I'm not familiar with that. Is that in
It's in
Alabama?
Athens, Alabama.
And what year did you receive that? Approximately.
Um, 89. Possibly.
Do you have any other forms of secondary education?
I have a master's in pastoral care and a PhD in theology from Global Seminary University.
What year did you receive that PhD approximately?
2012.
All right. It says here in your interrogatory responses, which I know you're not an attorney. I'm not trying to hide this from you. It's a document you went over with this firm, and they provided to me their answers to questions I asked. And in it, I asked if you're making a lost wages claim or a loss of future earning capacity claim. And it said I'm not making a claim for lost wages. Is that true?
That is true.
Are you making a claim that this accident has prevented you from earning an income in the future for any reason?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that.
Well, I'm in ministry and I do a lot of traveling. But since the accident, I have not been able to do revivals. I tried to do a revival at the speak at the church that I'm presently a member of, and I wasn't very successful because I was very in a lot of pain afterwards. My upper back gave me a fit, and I just was in the bed and taking a lot of medication after that. So it has hindered my ability to speak.
When you say it's hindered your ability to speak, you mean in terms of getting to places?
Yes, and the pain that I'm in when I try to do it.
Where are you, what church are you a member of?
Church of God in Christ
In Newmarket?
in Huntsville, Alabama.
And tell me about these revivals. Tell me about that.
Generally, I'll be invited to come and speak sometime for 5 days, sometime for 3 days at various churches. It could be anywhere where there's a church and they know about my ministry, I've heard about it, then I could be invited to come and minister to them for 3 to 5 days.
And you're compensated when you do this? And does that vary depending on where you're going?
Yes.
Okay. Well, do you have an idea, have you canceled revivals since this accident occurred?
After the accident, I have not even scheduled one. Because of how I feel. And I don't think that I would be successful in it, would be able to endure what it takes to put on one.
Have you turned any away? People come to you and say,
I haven't even, usually I'll call and get on their books. I haven't done that because I haven't felt well enough to do it.
Okay.
I didn't want to go and schedule a revival and not be capable of doing it effectively.
but no one's called you and you said, no, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Is that, as far as a revival, true?
Right.
Okay. Do you think that you are in a position now that you could start going to revivals or not yet?
Not
Are you hoping to be in a position in the future that you can?
I feel that everyone is put here to do something, and I feel that I'm put here to be a blessing and enlighten people, and I have not been able to do that. I want to feel better. You know, I love doing it, so I want to get back in there.
So you're just playing it by ear, basically, and you're hoping for the best for the future.
I'm hoping that God touch my body and, you know.
All right. What is your position at your church?
I'm an evangelist.
Okay. And
Not just at my church, but I'm the evangelist in the Church of God in Christ.
okay. And are you able to fulfill your duties as an evangelist at your church?
No, not effectively.
Okay. You still go to the church on the days that you would regularly go?
Sometimes I'm not able to go. There's been times that I haven't gone for quite some time.
And why can you not effectively do your duties as an evangelist?
Because I'm in a lot of pain, and if I take medicine, then I'm unable to drive. If I take medicine, then I can't function properly.
But would your job duties as an evangelist, and I'm saying job duties, so that probably doesn't really characterize what it is really, but what do you do as an evangelist?
Usually I go and I speak. I go and I pray for people. I lay hands on them. Just whatever the requests are. If they need me to go and get groceries or whatever, you know, someone needs, then I try to do that. If they need me to pray for their mother, sometimes people come, they're in wheelchairs, sometimes the children are sick, you know, so I pray for them.
Okay. Did you, what year is this, 2013? Did you file income tax returns in 2012?
My husband and I filed together.
Joint? And you had income for yourself on there?
2012. I'm not sure, because he does that.
Okay.
Does all of that.
What about 2011? Do you know there?
Usually, my husband does all the finances. I just don't do it. He has an accountant and day job, and I don't know what's on the table.
Fair enough. What does your husband do?
He's an engineer.
Oh, so your daughter's kind of following in the footsteps, I guess.
Yes.
All right. And does he own his own company, or does he work
He
somewhere?
works for the Army Corps.
Hence the Huntsville area.
Yes.
That makes sense. All right. Switching gears here a little bit. How Have you ever been in a motor vehicle accident with injury beyond the motor vehicle accident that we're here about today?
Not that I can remember.
Okay. No prior or subsequent motor vehicle accidents where you were injured? All right. I know about, from the little bit you told me about the Winn-Dixie fall, and see if I can find it here. Looks like it was December 18th, 2001. You probably don't remember that exact date, but that's what it says here. That sound about the right time frame,
I guess.
approximately?
Yes.
And it said you had a slip and fall at a grocery store. That was the Winn-Dixie. A lawsuit was filed, but the case later settled, is what it says here. Do you recall what it settled for? Do you know approximately what it settled for?
Honestly, I don't.
Do you recall what your injuries were?
My head, I had pretty bad headaches. My upper back.
When you say your upper back, do you mean kind of in between your shoulder blades or more like your neck?
My neck.
And where did you treat? What hospitals or emergency rooms or medical providers did you go to that you recall from
I
that
think it
slip?
was TOC.
TOC?
Yes. I'm trying to remember what the abbreviation is. But anyway, the doctor at TOC was Dr. Seymour.
Okay. Is that the only doctor you saw from that slip and fall at the Winn-Dixie?
That I can remember.
Did you have any operations because of that, injuries from that?
I also saw a head doctor.
Okay.
I can't think of his name though.
Was that in Alabama?
It was in Alabama.
Okay. Did you have any surgeries from that
No, sir.
slip and fall? Did you have any what we call trigger point injections from that slip and fall?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Would that have
In my neck.
in your neck, and that would have been at with Dr. Seymour?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have MRIs in your neck from that prior?
I believe I did.
Also at Dr. Seymour's, or he might have sent you out, but
Yes.
okay. How long did your injuries from the 2001 slip and fall at the Winn-Dixie last? Or did they continue on forever?
No, I got better.
And when, I mean, I know you don't know exactly, but just a ballpark, the mid-2000s or the early 2000s, I'm just looking for a ballpark when your neck pain got better.
I really don't remember.
Did your neck pain resolve 100% from that slip and fall? In other words, it was the same as it was prior to the slip and fall?
It was totally better.
100%. What about the headaches? Did those resolve?
Yes.
Did you have any lingering injuries at all from the 2001 slip and fall?
No, I was better.
Okay. Would you think it would be several years anyways prior to the accident we're here for today, which I believe was January 4th, 2012? It had certainly been several years that your neck was 100%.
My neck was better.
Okay. Was it 100%?
It was better. I felt fine. It
All
was
right.
better.
At the time this accident occurred, 1 second before it occurred, you had no chronic neck pain of any sort?
I was fine.
Okay. And it had been that way for some time?
Yes, I was fine.
Okay. All right. Have you ever had any other accidents beyond what we've already talked about where you've been traumatically injured, fallen off a trampoline? I can never think of good examples. I remember I saw something about maybe something at a Walmart or something where you fell.
And that was at Winn-Dixie.
Okay.
That you just spoke.
Well, there's another thing in here that says 8 to 9 years ago I fell at Walmart. Maybe that just got mixed up somehow. And it says and was treated for my head and upper back. So
That
that's
must be the same.
All right, fair enough. Okay, any other traumatic injuries beyond what we've talked about?
Well, I just, I guess, April of 2012, I fell in my kitchen and I tore my ligaments in my arm, my shoulders.
Sorry to hear that. Was it, you slipped on something on the floor type of deal? The old proverbial banana peel type of deal? And what were your injuries exactly?
I had surgery to repair them, done by Dr. Greco.
Okay. And that was to your right upper extremity?
It's both of my arms.
Bilateral, okay. And was it, do you know exactly the type of surgical procedure it was? It's okay. I know you're not a doctor. Well, you're not a medical doctor anyways.
I just know that he repaired the torn ligaments and I don't know too much.
That's fine. Nothing about the motor vehicle accident we're here for today had anything to do with those surgeries. Discounting, well, actually, before I ask that, have you ever had any other type of traumatic injuries beyond what you've already told me about?
I had breast reduction.
All right, anything else? Slip and fall, any other, fall off a ladder,
No.
anything like that? And you just told me about the breast reduction, so discounting any other female procedures, have you ever had any type of surgical intervention, discounting female procedures?
No.
And the arm surgeries you just told me about. Prior to January 4th, 2012, have you ever been to a chiropractor?
No.
Since
Not that I can recall.
since January 4th, 2012, have you been to a chiropractor?
Since what?
Since January 4th, 2012, the date of this accident?
Yes.
Okay.
I was seeking some relief because I did the injections, I did the therapy, and I wasn't getting any type of relief.
Who is the chiropractor that you've seen since this accident occurred?
It's called Envision.
And is that spelled E-N or I-N?
I-N.
Okay. And is that in Huntsville? Okay.
I can't think of his name.
That's all right. We can find it. I don't have it here in what's been provided to me that I see anyways. When was the last time you saw that chiropractor approximately?
Usually I see him 2 days a week.
And-
At first I was seeing him 3 days a week.
And that's ongoing?
Yes.
Okay. So, what is today? It's Monday, unfortunately. So you probably saw the chiropractor last week.
Yes.
Do you know the day?
I saw him Monday and Tuesday.
Okay.
And
And-
I'll see him again tomorrow.
Okay. And what does the chiropractor do for you?
He's trying to help me get rid of some of the pain that I'm in. And I guess he's a neuro chiropractor. So he's cracking and, doing what the chiropractor does.
Okay. He puts your body in different positions. Is it a he?
It's a he.
He puts your body in different positions and pushes on it till it cracks and those sort of things.
Yeah, I guess you can say
Has he ever done any x-rays?
that. Yes.
But no other type of diagnostic testing beyond x-rays?
No.
Okay. Has he ever talked to you about the results of the x-rays?
I can't remember what he said.
Fair enough. Right. We will come back to some of that stuff. You told me about an MRI surrounding the slip and fall at the Winn-Dixie. Have you ever had any other MRIs prior to January 4th, 2012?
Not that I
All right. Let's move along to the facts of this accident. You recall this accident occurring?
can. Yes.
You didn't lose consciousness? Okay. And You're up here visiting your daughter, or why were you in Nashville?
I was visiting.
It's a good reason. And were you by yourself at the time of the accident?
I was driving by myself.
And do you know where you're going?
I was going to a doctor's appointment with her.
Okay. It was an appointment for your daughter? Okay. And do you know what time the appointment was? And do you recall what the weather conditions were like that day?
I think it was good.
Dry and clear?
I believe, I'm not sure.
All right. It was January 4th, so it was probably not warm out anyways, but do you recall it being anything else and stick out to you about how the weather was that day?
Not particularly.
Looks like an accident occurred around 10 in the morning. That sound about right to you? The area where the accident occurred, are you familiar with that part of Nashville?
Yes.
You're familiar with Nashville in general by now?
Yes.
All right. Where had you left from? Where was the last place you had been before the accident occurred?
I was at Lexington Village.
Lexington Village?
Apartment.
Oh, I gotcha. Is that where your daughter lives?
That's where she used to live.
She used to live. I gotcha. And just go ahead and tell me in your own words how this accident occurred.
Well, we were going down Nobleville and getting ready to turn left onto Harding, and we were sitting at the light. And while we were sitting, then we were hit by the cars.
Okay. Prior to impact occurring, did you have any indication an impact was going to occur, or did it occur totally out of the blue?
It's out of
Okay. So let me just back up a little bit. You come to the lane of travel where this accident occurred, and it's a left-hand turning lane. And when you come to that lane, the light was red at that time, or turning red anyways?
it was red because we were sitting there.
Okay. So the time of the accident, you were at a dead stop.
We were stopped.
Do you know how long you'd been at a dead stop, approximately? A few seconds, or?
I just know we were waiting for sitting at the light.
All right. Was there a vehicle in front of you?
Yes, it was.
And there's at least a couple of vehicles behind you?
Thanks.
Did you ever see the vehicles behind you prior to impact?
I was just sitting at the light waiting for it to change.
Okay. How would you characterize the impact from the rear? I'm asking you for these words to describe it. So, severe impact, moderate impact, light impact, any words?
For me,
Correct.
it was a severe.
And how many impacts did you feel?
I felt two.
Okay. Do you know the sequence of events in terms of collisions behind you?
Meaning,
Did the vehicle behind you hit you first and then was pushed into you again?
I don't really know. I just know I felt two impacts.
Gotcha. Did you speak to the person in the vehicle behind you?
I didn't speak. I spoke with the lady, not the gentleman, but I spoke with the lady that she said she came to the car and she said it was her fault. And she said, asked me was I hurt, and I said I was. And she said, I'll take responsibility for, whatever. She apologized.
Okay. Any other conversation that you recall?
That was it. No.
Have you ever spoken to her since that day?
No.
So when she asked you if you were injured, you said yes, and that was the end of the...
I said yes.
Oh, you didn't give any more detail than that?
I don't know.
All right. Backing up just a little bit, did your body make contact with the interior of the vehicle anywhere during this accident?
I don't even remember it happened so fast.
Okay. Did anything and the vehicle come loose and hit you during the accident. You did not, I'm not telling you, I'm asking you, so correct me if I'm wrong, but your vehicle did not hit the vehicle in front of you. How would you characterize the property damage to the rear of your vehicle after this accident?
Well, I drive a 2004 Mercedes, and I think Mercedes is built really, my car is real heavy. So I didn't see a lot of damage done to my car.
Did you have it repaired after the accident?
Yes.
I have some photographs here. They're not the best, but they've been provided to me. I'll just show them all to you. Can you just review those for me? They're the interrogatory responses of State Farm. Is that your vehicle, first of all? Can you point out to me, like I said, they're not great photographs, and maybe there's more floating around out there, I don't know. But can you point out the property damage in those photographs?
I think it's done to the car.
Can you circle it with that red pen? I'll just, if you can look through.
And again, it's been so long, my car has been repaired. I really don't remember, but I'll do it because you asked me to.
Fair enough.
I really don't remember.
Just the best of your recollection. All
I'm
right.
going by the shading because I honestly don't remember.
I tell you what, give me that first one. I tell you what we'll do. We're going to make that first one the first exhibit to your deposition. She'll take that. And then, yeah, that's fine. And then, if you would, why don't you look through the rest and see if you can show me, if you can do the same thing to any of the other photos.
I'm marking, but I really don't remember.
That's-
honest.
No problem. So,
Doing that, I really don't remember.
all right. Any of the other photographs, can you find anywhere where the property damage is?
I don't remember.
That's fine.
If I told you anything else, I wouldn't be telling the truth, and I don't remember.
We'll just go ahead and make the rest of these a collective exhibit. I don't have a paper clip. All right. About to switch gears here again a little bit. But before we do, I forgot to tell you at the beginning, if you need a break anytime, just tell me. I go really fast in these things, so it won't be much longer. But certainly, we can take a break. And let me know if you don't understand a question, okay? And I'll make sure that you do. Are you on any medications today at all?
I didn't take any today because I knew I was coming here. But
Okay.
generally, I am. I'm on muscle relaxers, and I take pain medicine, but I've been trying to not take them so much because I can't really function properly, especially drive.
I understand. What is your normal course of medications in the day?
At night, I generally take muscle relaxers.
What kind? Didn't know it was pop quiz, did you? Is it Flexeril?
Flexeril.
Okay, anything else?
Celebrix,
All right.
and can't think of the other pain medicine that I take.
Where do you get your prescriptions filled?
Right,
In New Market?
yes.
On what street?
Mariaville.
Okay. You ever get your prescriptions filled anywhere else?
No, generally.
All right. Okay. Do you typically take medications in the morning as well, but you just didn't today?
Generally, I take something, may be able to deal with whatever, but I didn't take it today because I try not to take it if I gotta drive, or if I knew I was coming here and I wanted my mind to be sharp.
And something, would that typically be the Flexeril, or would that be the?
That would be the Flexeril or Payments.
Okay. All right. At the scene of the accident, tell me what parts of your body were bothering you.
My upper back.
When you say your upper back,
My upper back and my middle back.
okay, so are we talking your cervical and thoracic regions? Do you know the spine well enough to understand what that means?
I know what it means, but I don't know. I just know my upper back.
I gotcha. Okay. When we say your upper, when we say your upper back, are we talking kind of your shoulder into your neck, or can you?
Not the shoulder, the middle part of your back, but just below your neck.
Okay.
I guess about a few inches below that.
And can you describe to me how it felt there at the scene? Was it a throbbing pain, a stabbing pain, an aching pain, pulsating, shooting? Any words you can use to describe it?
Hurting, stabbing. I tell you this, it hurt enough that I went to the hospital.
At the scene there, you've done the pain scale before. Tell me on the pain scale between 1 and 10 what your pain is.
What now?
No. I asked the question poorly. First of all, you've done the pain scale before, yes?
I have.
At the scene, how was your middle and upper back doing?
I don't know if I can do a scale, but I just know I was in a lot of pain.
Okay. Now, is these parts of your back, your upper back, they the same area of your body that was injured in the slip and fall at Winn-Dixie, or is that different
It's
part?
different.
Okay, and it's different because why?
It's a different part,
Oh.
a different area.
Okay, I kind of got to ask stupid questions sometimes just to get the answers down. Have you ever had pain in the areas of your body we're talking about for this accident prior to this accident occurring? At the scene of the accident, were any other parts of your body bothering you beyond what you just told me?
No, just those areas.
Since the accident occurred, have any other parts of your body started to bother you besides what you just told me?
Just that area.
All right, we can focus on that then. Is the middle, the areas of your back you just told me about, right below your neck, down a few inches, is it all kind of connected in terms of pain?
Yes.
All right. Lost my red pen somehow. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I always use my red pen to creature a habit. So, take me through the kind of evolution of your back, where you told me about, in terms of the pain from the date of the accident until today. Has it gotten better? Has it gotten worse? Does it wax and wane?
It's the same.
It's been constant
It's been constant since the accident.
until today.
It's hurting today.
Okay. And it's all day, every day.
Yes.
And tell me about the medications. Do they help at all?
The medication just generally just make me go to sleep. And makes me kind of relax, make me out of it, which I hate being out of it. I'm 53 years old. And I'm very active, doing ministry, which I love. Not having, just living a joyful life. But since the accident, I'm in agonizing pain.
Have you ever been prescribed any assistive devices like pillows, orthopedic pillows, anything like that?
I was told to go get a pillow from
Okay.
But generally just mainly pain medicine. I was doing the injections. The injections caused my heart rate to speed up. So I decided I didn't want to do the injections anymore because since the injection, my heart rate just stays speed up all the time, and I end up getting on medicine because it did that. So I stopped the injection.
All right. Let's back up a little bit. From the scene of the accident, you're taken by ambulance to Southern Hills, correct?
No, sir. I
Um,
drove to Southern Hills.
That's right. You drove to the emergency room at Southern Hills. You drove there yourself.
Yes.
All right. Did you park and walk in the front door of the ER there?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And when you got to the ER, what were your complaints?
My upper back and my middle back.
No other complaints, true. At the scene of the accident, were you asked if you needed an ambulance by any means?
Yes, the police asked me if I wanted an ambulance. I told them I was hurt, but I was going to leave.
So you obviously then declined an ambulance.
I did.
Okay. Had you ever been to the emergency room at Southern Hills for
I
any
have
reason? Have you ever been to, besides for the slip and fall, whenever that was, in this accident here, have you ever been to another emergency room for any emergency room for any reason?
Yes, when I had my breast reduction, I had some problems over there. But as far as,
From injury?
yeah,
Nothing? Okay. You go to the ER, you were not admitted into the hospital, correct?
you're
You-
referring to.
At Southern Hills?
Okay, no, I was not.
Okay. Sorry, I wasn't clear on that. And when you left the emergency room, did you have any neck braces or any sort of
I did
braces
not.
on your body at all?
I did not.
What did they do for you at the
They
ER?
gave me medicine.
They take X-rays, anything like that?
They did not.
Do you know why they did not?
I do not know.
Did they give you any advice, like go see your primary care physician, or come back and see us if your problems persist, or did they tell you anything like that when you left?
I'm not sure, but I'm sure they probably did because I think that's routine.
All right. When you left the ER, how did you leave? I know
I drove.
you drove away. Okay, you drove yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Did anyone come and see you while you were at the ER?
No.
All right. How long would you say you were at the emergency room, approximately?
I don't know, maybe about, I'm not really sure. So maybe 3 or 4 hours, I'm not sure.
Okay. Did any doctor ever talk to you about your diagnosis or assessment while you're there at the emergency room? At Southern Hills.
I don't recall.
Okay. When you left the emergency room, where'd you go?
I went to Huntsville. My husband was in the hospital in Huntsville.
Well, I hope he's okay. Why was he in the hospital?
But
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. The next medical provider you saw after the emergency room was that Dr. Kendall Black.
yes,
Now, you had been, and that's at a place called Sports Med.
yes.
Well, what is that exactly?
That's if you hadn't asked me, that's a orthopedic doctors.
Okay. And that's in Huntsville.
Yes.
All right. See, I'm not real. I would know what it was if it was around Middle Tennessee. You had been to Dr. Black or to some doctor at Sports Med prior to this accident, or no? Okay. What did Dr. Black do for you?
He gave me medicine.
Okay. Did he or any other people, doctors, nurse practitioners, whatever, at Sports Med, do any diagnostic testing, things like that?
Dr. Black did what did Dr. Black, I can't remember what, he did something, but I can't remember what he did.
Well, I know you had a thoracic and a cervical MRI. Do you think?
Okay, that's what he did.
Okay, and it says here that they did it. They might have sent you out for it, but anyways, he reviewed the findings anyways. Did he ever talk to you about the results of those MRIs?
Not in detail.
Do you know generally what he talked to you about, if you recall at all?
Not really. He referred me to see pain management. I think it was Dr. Seymour. And Dr. Seymour wanted to do injections in my spine. And I didn't know what that time.
Okay. Who referred you to physical therapy?
Dr. Seymour had me do physical therapy.
Okay, so let me see if I got this straight. Dr. Black sent you to Dr. Seymour. Dr. Seymour sent you to physical therapy.
No, Dr. Seymour sent me to therapy.
Okay.
No, Dr. Black sent me to therapy.
Okay, all right. So Dr. Black sent you to physical therapy. Dr. Black also sent you out to Dr. Seymour. All right. Sorry, I wasn't trying to be confusing there. Had you ever been to physical therapy prior to January 4th, 2012?
Yes, when I was in the fall
Okay.
at Winn-Dixie.
All right. Prior to, besides the physical therapy from the slip and fall at Winn-Dixie and the physical therapy after this accident, have you ever had physical therapy anywhere else? I had the last time you went to physical therapy was April 3rd, 2012, as related to this accident. Do you think you've been there since then?
Therapy?
Physical therapy, yes. Okay. All right. Do you have a home exercise program? Did they tell you to do things at home?
Yes.
And do you continue to do those
Yes.
daily?
Not every day, but when I'm in a lot of pain, then I don't. But I try to do it because I'm trying to do whatever I can do to get some relief.
And you kind of motion the stretching. Is it with bands and big rubber band type of things? They make you stretch? Okay. Who's your primary care physician?
Dr. Williams.
Where's Dr. Williams at? What outfit?
Huntsville, Alabama.
What's the name of the outfit?
It's internal medicine.
Okay. How'd you get to Hazel Green Family Practice?
That was in my area where I live. And when my pain would get bad, and sometimes I'll go and see. And the doctor's office would close, and sometimes I'll go.
Is that like a walk-in?
It is.
I gotcha. Okay. Did they ever prescribe medications to you?
Most of
Okay. How did you get to spine care?
I went to a chiropractor, and he read my x-rays, and he said that he suggests that I go see spine care neurologist there.
Okay. And that's in Huntsville?
That's in Huntsville.
And it looks like, from what I have, you went there 3 times in the from beginning to mid-April 2012. You probably don't remember exactly. But do you think you've been there since then?
I went there, I was getting injections for almost a year there.
Well, yeah, I've got,
Done by Dr. Robinson, and then I went there and got injection from Dr. White. I think it was a little bit more than
Yeah, okay. What I have is a place called Spine Care, and then I have another place called North Alabama Neurological.
It's the same.
Okay, I was thinking it must be the same thing. All right, well, that makes sense then. Okay. The trigger point injections were to your upper part of your back, and there were steroids, and I've had them, so I know what you're talking about. They can make you a little flustered, and you didn't like the way it made your heart feel.
It speed up my heart rate, and even today, from the injection, my heart rate is normal before. Now I'm taking Vastatic to slow down my heart rate.
Who is your heart doctor, cardiologist?
My primary care physician.
Okay. So it was the chiropractor that you told me about a while ago that sent you to Spine Care / North Alabama Neurologicals. Okay. We have talked about you going to the ER at Southern Hills, Dr. Black at Sports Med. Well, I'm going to have to back up on that. You did physical therapy at both Huntsville Hospital and through North Alabama Neurological. Do you know why there was physical therapy at two different places?
I did it where?
At Huntsville Hospital, and then at
When I went to see Dr. Seymour, I did surgery. I did therapy. I guess, I don't remember, but you say at Huntsville Hospital. But then when I went to the neurology center and saw the neurologist at the neurology center, they have a therapy place there in their facility. So that's why I did therapy there.
and that went hand in hand with the trigger point injections?
Yes.
Okay, so to do that again, you've been to the emergency room at Southern Hills, you've been to Sports Med, you've been to Huntsville Hospital, and you might have seen some other part of the hospital is why that's not ringing a bell, but that's where they have your physical therapy records coming from. You've been to Hazel Green Family Practice, the walk-in clinic we talked about, Spine Care / North Alabama Neurological, Comprehensive Rehab for physical therapy, and the chiropractor. Have you seen any other medical providers since this accident occurred because of your injuries from this accident beyond what I just mentioned?
Not that I can
All right. And if you recall anything after today, you can tell your attorney, and he'll tell me. And if you recall anything, I'm not going to be much longer, but if you recall anything as we go on that you want to go back and address in the past, we can. What is your strategy for the future for your back pain? For your pain from?
I've been seeing the neuro chiropractor. So I guess I go and I feel a little better, but then once I leave, I'm right back where I started.
Has a doctor ever discussed surgical intervention with you?
No, they discussed doing the spine injections, which I really don't want to do that.
Has a doctor ever discussed with you what's called an impairment rating? Have you ever heard those words? The physical therapy you told me about the chiropractor, and that helps while you're doing it, but it seems like you got to continue doing it. What about the physical therapy? Did that help at all? What about the trigger point injections?
The trigger point injection helped a little bit, but then it came right back.
Okay, and you told me about the heart thing, so. But as far as, when you say it came right back, are we talking in a matter of days? It came right back?
Not days, but just, I guess about the next day, I was right back in the same place that I was when I left.
Okay.
And that's why Dr. Robinson was giving me so many. Now, he was giving me
12 to 15 injections at the same sitting?
Yes.
What parts of your body were those injections to? All to the same region of your back?
My upper back.
Was this an injection, did he just put a needle right in there, or was he looking at a screen to help guide the needle?
He just put the needle, done it, he did it himself.
I see. Okay. You've already told me some how this accident has affected your life. But what I want to know about, it, beyond what you've already told me, is how this accident has affected your life. How you're going to tell the jury how this accident's affected your life. Household chores, hobbies, things you can't do at all or can't do as well because of this accident.
At home, as far as cleaning, my husband is in Afghanistan, so my friend and my son, they're, help around the house. And the housework that I do, I do it through what I feel, and do what I need to do. But when I'm doing it, I'm doing it in pain.
Is your husband in the National Guard or something?
He's civil service.
Okay. Anything else you can tell me about how your life's been affected? Household chores, hobbies, anything?
Even driving, when I drive and sit for a long period of time, like now, sit for a long period of time. If I'm just doing certain motions and I'm doing it more than once continuously, then it bothers me.
Repetitive motions.
Yes.
How did you drive yourself up here today?
No, my friend.
Oh, your friend that was
Yes.
sitting in here earlier that I so rudely kicked out. What types of motions cause your problems? Are these like lifting your arms?
Lifting, bending, like sitting for a long period of time. Those things.
Are you on any weightlifting restrictions or besides common sense?
I just don't lift a whole lot. I usually get someone else to do that.
Any other ways you can tell me about how this accident has affected your life beyond what you've already told me? As we sit here today, do you have any appointments with any doctors as related to this accident? Besides the chiropractor, you told me about that.
That's it.
Okay. So you're, I'm not telling you, I'm asking you, tell me if I'm wrong. For the time being, you're just going to go see the chiropractor and kind of hope for the best. Is that where we're at?
Pretty much, because I don't want to do injections anymore. I don't want to do spine injection. Those things have caused me more problems than I started. So I don't want to do that anymore. So if I can get some relief with the chiropractor, even if it just lasts a minute, then that's more relief than I started with.
Okay. I asked you a while ago if we've talked about every medical provider that you've seen, and we talked about that. We've also talked about every claim of injury that you're making from this accident. True.
Say that again.
We've now talked about every claim of injury that you're making from this accident. Is that true?
Every claim of
Injury. Yeah.
yes.
All right. Not trying to trick you. I know they're kind of awkward questions. Give me a moment here to look through my notes. I might have a question or two. In fact, what I'll do to make this go quicker is if Mr. Bricker has any questions, he can go and I'll review my notes. And if not,
Ms. Haley, my name is Todd Bricker, and I represent your insurance company, the underinsured motorist carrier. And you may have said this earlier when Mr. Offit was asking you questions, but I think you said when the accident occurred, you were on your way to a doctor's visit for your daughter.
Yes.
Do you recall the name of her doctor?
I don't.
Do you recall where his office was located?
No, sir. I'm sorry. I don't.
It wasn't in the Southern Hills complex?
No, sir. I don't know. I don't know where. I just know that it was, I think it was downtown or something, I don't recall.
And as you were at the light, you were the second vehicle back?
Yes,
Did you stop abruptly for any reason?
I just stopped.
Did you?
I was sitting at the light for a while.
And when it turned green, what happened?
That's when I was here.
Did the vehicle in front of you turn left when the light turned green?
No, the vehicle in front of me was still there.
When you were hit from behind?
Yes.
So the light had turned green and the vehicle in front of you.
No, you confused me.
Okay. Let me ask it a different way. Before the impact to the rear of your vehicle, did the light turn from red to green?
It turned from red to, after the,
Before the collision?
it turned red, so we stopped.
Okay. And so the accident occurred while your light was red?
Yes, I was sitting at the light.
And no vehicles were in motion immediately before the impact?
We were just sitting at the light when I got the impact.
How long do you think you had been there at a complete stop before the impact occurred?
I don't know, for a while, I can't tell you how long, I don't remember, but I just know we were sitting at the light when, waiting for the light to turn green.
And your daughter was in the vehicle with you?
No, she was not.
Had you already taken her to the doctor's
No.
office? Were you on your way to pick her up?
No,
Well, explain that to me.
she was driving her own car,
Okay.
and I was in my own car.
And you were just going to meet her at the doctor's?
I was following her to the doctor.
Was she driving the vehicle immediately in front of you?
She was.
And your vehicle wasn't pushed into the rear of her vehicle?
No, sir. We were sitting at the light, waiting for it to turn green.
After the accident, did she stay there at the scene?
She did.
Did she go to the hospital with you?
No, she didn't.
Did she go on to her doctor's appointment?
No, she didn't. She wasn't feeling well, so I told her to go home.
Well, she was on the way to the doctor, right?
She was.
What type of doctor was she going to see?
I don't recall.
Do you know, was she ill or was it a regular scheduled visit?
I don't remember. I don't know. I can't remember if she was sick. I don't know.
Were you up here visiting her that day or did you come up specifically to go to the doctor with her?
I was out visiting.
How long had you been here?
I don't remember.
Over the weekend?
I don't remember. I don't want to say something that's not the case. I don't remember.
Well, I'm just asking the question.
Okay.
If you don't remember, you tell me you don't remember.
Okay, I don't remember.
You drove from the scene directly to Southern Hills ER, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Didn't stop anywhere between?
No, I went to the doctor.
All right. And you may have told Mr. Offit this, but do you remember what your complaints of pain were to the ER physician?
I don't remember.
Do you remember what you told the ER physician?
I told them my complaint was my upper back was hurting.
Did they ask, like Mr. Offit did, for you to give a level of your pain on a scale of 1 to 10?
They may have, but I don't remember. It's been some time, I don't remember.
As we sit here today, do you remember how bad your pain was on a scale of 1 to 10?
I know that I was in a lot of pain. For me to go to the hospital, I was in a lot of pain.
Could you quantify it for us on a scale of 1 to 10?
I don't know what the scale was. I don't remember.
Well, a lot of pain is could mean different things to different people. If you can quantify your pain as of the day of the accident when you went to the ER physician or ER visit, 10 being the most severe pain you think you could ever bear, and 1 being barely any pain at all. Can you tell us on a scale of 1 to 10 what you were experiencing that day?
I'm sure it had, for me, as an ER, it had to be believe that was then, but I don't really recall.
Do you remember when it was that you last saw a medical doctor for any injuries related to this car accident?
I don't remember.
Do you remember who it was that you last saw, your last medical doctor that you treated with?
The chiropractor for this particular thing.
Well, when I say the chiropractor is not a medical doctor, a medical doctor.
I don't remember the exact time. No, I can't remember.
Do you remember who it was that you last treated with?
I believe Dr. White,
And he was with,
Neuro.
Well, there's you mean comprehensive rehab, or do you mean North Alabama Neurological?
Yes.
Okay, North Alabama Neurological.
I think earlier you told Mr. Offit that you were going to be presenting a lost earning capacity claim, is that right?
I said, I don't,
Said that you weren't going to be filing a lost wage claim, but
but
that
I
you,
would not be filing a lost wage claim.
okay. But are you going to be filing a lost earning capacity claim? Is that, do you know?
I don't know.
Okay. That's all I have.
I don't have anything else. You better hurry, you got Mr. Meter.
Okay.
Not too bad.
Not as bad as most of the dentist.
All right, well, I'm going to get out of here.